Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick unboxing and first look at the DJI Action 2. This camera launched at the end of 2021 with a retail price of $519 US for the dual screen combo that I'm about to unbox. Camera alone back then, $399. The power combo was $499. And quite frankly, that is the primary reason I never covered this camera. It was too expensive. Of course, it's not perfect. In fact, far from it, but it is incredibly cool. And now here in 2023, it is actually affordable. So I picked this up from BuyDig for $169 US, open box, of course, before tax. And again, this is the dual screen combo that originally retailed for $519. And I think here in 2023, this is just as practical. And now with pricing being, of course, far more affordable, this makes a lot of sense. Now, this is open box, so if you want to buy it brand new, you will be looking at a higher price. I think Best Buy is like $399 now for this combo, which I think is still a lot, but when you compare it to the existing competition, which is the Insta360 Go 2, I do believe this is the better product. And trust me, I love Insta360. The Go 2 just seems inferior in just about every way. Now, one of the mistakes that DJI made with this camera, and it's one of them, was naming it the Action 2, because anyone who follows my channel knows that I've had the Action 1 since launch, and it's a great camera, but we all know it directly competes with the GoPro. This, on the other hand, does not compete with GoPro in any way. Of course, GoPro has launched their Mini, which is adorable. I think this is a better product. That doesn't mean that it's better in every way. Don't get ahead of yourself. There are definitely strengths to each. Here, the clear one being you can actually see what you're filming without using a phone. All that aside, the actual camera module, again, just incredible that they were able to make something like this that standalone can shoot 4K 120, 4K 60. Actually, it's UHD at 4K 120, beyond UHD at 4K 60. That was part of a firmware update. Stabilization has improved. The overheating, which was another huge problem at launch, supposedly has improved drastically. This camera also has great onboard microphone, something you're not going to find from a quote-unquote action cam with this form factor. But you're not going to find an action cam with this form factor anyway. Another thing you've got to be worried about, other than that Go 2 from Insta, the other thing you've got to be worried about with this, besides overheating and just contacting and actually burning yourself, which is something people have talked a lot about, I'll find out firsthand, see what I did there, is the actual lens. There's no protection, no cover on this, kind of like my naked Action 1 that I just brought out. And what that means is that if anything contacts it, this is basically a brick. If that gets scratched, you're not going to be able to use this with a scratch display. It may destroy, its video capability. 12 megapixel stills out of this, although for me it's going to be a little video machine. Magnetic contacts at the base. You got to make sure to keep these clean. Remember, this is waterproof up to, I believe, 33 feet. But if you get any kind of salt water on this, you must clean it. I mean, any electronics that you have that are waterproof, if you get salt water on it, please rinse that with fresh water. It will destroy the device. So we've got a power button and record button up here at the top, an OLED display at the back, and those magnetic contacts, 32 gigs of internal storage built in. You cannot put an SD card in this little camera. I think formatted, it ends up being about 22 gigs. We'll see how much video I can record on it in 4K 60. I'm not planning to do a lot of 4K 120. Now, this is the dual screen combo, so this is another display so that when you want to actually see what you're filming, even though you've got a screen on the back and you're filming yourself, you have this little guy. This also is going to deliver battery recharging to this, so extended battery life. This also has a micro SD card slot, so when you're using this, you won't have to worry as much about battery life and storage. But this unit is not water resistant. So do not get this wet. It will break. And this is yet another one of those things that, it's a little bit half-baked, but still incredibly cool. Now, this open box unit at least appears to be fairly clean. I haven't tested it out yet. I will need to do that in order to actually know whether or not it's going to have to go back. They still have them in stock, so I'm not worried. These little release clips are how you separate that magnetic pogo pin connection, for anyone that's wondering. And it seems solid. I mean, construction, build quality on this seems to be excellent. So that's definitely a good thing. Another power button here. And again, for me, it's all about the form factor and that this is going to go places other action cameras simply just can't. Now, they do have a necklace that's part of this package. I'm also hoping I got the little protective case for the how hot it gets and to help with overheating. But we'll only know once I start pulling these accessories out. And I mean, it's obvious that this is open box. I mean, nothing was sealed. So this is part of the, I believe, magnetic mounting system. This is the top part of the necklace, I believe. So here is the actual necklace that you can obviously wear. And then the way this works is actually depicted here. Pull out the rest of these pieces. But basically, you put the necklace on, you thread this under your shirt, and then basically once the camera, based on what I'm seeing, we take this off, and yeah, so that part comes off right there, and they're showing that you want to have this part facing up, it looks like, so that it will magnetically attach, and it did. So basically, yeah, you would have, that's the necklace set up right there. Again, pretty straightforward, and they're just showing that this part would be under your shirt. I don't know that I'll ever use that. It's certainly cool. I'll test it out. I'm not sure that the point of view is going to be great, but one of the nice things with this is that it is a really wide field of view. I believe it's f2.8. Let me see if it is on the lens here. Field of view is 155 degrees, and it is f2.8. So, you know, everything I've seen about the video quality on this has been great, but it appears, since nothing else is in this, that I did not get that little plastic case. So I don't know that, I don't think DJI is going to provide it, but no big deal. Again, if this works as expected, it looks fairly clean, as long as I have no scratch on the lens element, then this was an absolute steal. Again, if you have a purpose for it. I mean, stabilization is supposed to be solid from what I've seen. Contrast and dynamic range, a little problematic, but the overall quality that this is able to output in 4K is excellent. And then when it comes to overheating, of course, you can go with 1080p, which will give you better battery life, and you'll be less prone to overheating. I do not plan on filming in 1080p. For me, this is all about using this at 4K, and again, going where a typical action camera will not, and still having excellent audio. So I'm hoping that this fits the bill, but again, at whoa, went to the wrong side there. At $170, I don't think you can go wrong with this. Now, at $400, this is still a tough one for me to recommend. So again, there will be a link in the description, and I will follow up with a full review of this little guy once I spend some time with it. I forgot to mention, of course, the charging port right there for the screen power pack, if you will. Type-C connection there, but nothing on the body other than that magnetic charging or mating port on the actual camera unit itself. Remember, everything is built in. You've got the sensor, of course, the internal storage, all that jazz, but tiny. Construction and build quality seems good. Now it's just a matter of testing it out and seeing whether or not it's going to be worth that 170, which I think it will. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sharing it with all of you. But let me know what you think. You already know the biggest limitations were essentially overheating and price. And, you know, price at least has been mitigated, and overheating at least has improved. So I'll find out. But from what I've seen, I think people were reporting that 4K would totally overheat and shut down by like 17 minutes. That was before all the updating. So let's see how things work out, and let's see if I can cook an egg on it. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button, and as usual, please feel free to subscribe, and please stay safe. Later.